for like me personally and some other folks that I know is like last 3 weeks, it's like it's been feeling like you're vibrating. Like you're there the sangries, you're sad and angry and like you don't know what to do with it and you're just and at least that part has passed. It's like waiting for your grandma to die. You know it's gonna happen. You know, you're freaked out. What the fuck are you gonna do? But then when grandma dies,
It's not so bad.
you
I
you
get it.
can start.
I've been trying to like contain it as much as I can. I do have very
No, but
general
you
anger issues,
no,
and it's
but
been like a lifelong thing. But
what
like this whole last year has been nothing but like fucking rage every single day, and it's finally got to a point I can like contain it a little bit, only for everybody to start freaking out about concentration camps, and I'm like, you motherfuckers, let me tell you a thing
here
right here.
what
Yeah,
I
I get
what
it.
I would say is like you shouldn't have to contain that shit.
Oh, I
Mm.
don't know what kind of anger you think that is.
Well,
If I don't contain it, it's not gonna go well for me.
there I mean, if we want to get psychoanalytical, Freud called it a sublimation, but it's like when you take this crazy force of energy and rather than using it to destroy everyone around you, you funnel it
A
into,
podcast,
for instance,
for
yes.
instance. Yeah.
Fucking my dad.
Fucking your dad.
MJ, please.
Yeah. All right. So we're here. This is our big post-election bonanza starring Ron Garimi, Ron Jeremy. I am, as always, your loyal foot soldier in communism, Dan Cohen, and I am joined tonight by. Let's go with right down the list as Discord has it. Let's go with Michael Jordan Peterson.
What's up, people?
I'm joined by Juniper Nest,
Always a pleasure.
and I am joined by the NB Pharmacy Tech, the Redneck Pharmacy Tech. We're just gonna call you NB. No
Yo,
brainer
yo.
that you should be listening to you. Um, links to our Twitters in the bios. I am updating these episodes going for the next 4 years with all our other side projects. I will be doing that weekly, so check that out. Because we're back in the Trump years. This is historically when the Sons of Trier gets its most views. Whenever we have a Republican in, because people love to consume left-wing content then. Um,
Oh, does that mean we're actually gonna have to like do shit?
Yeah, we're gonna actually have to work now, folks, but that's okay because it's gonna get fun. It's gonna get real gay with your dad because the next 4 years are gonna be a series of how hilarious can each week be while also simultaneously being the worst week ever. What are the Blubber
Well,
Boys going to do to the government? Let's find out.
hold on a sec though.
And
Like, please tell me this doesn't mean that our year end special will be delayed.
Never. It will never mean that.
Okay.
I actually,
Okay.
I actually think I know what I'm going to write, and it's going to be a little surprise treat for most of y'all. Oh, good. We should start shaming sex workers. Yeah, oh yeah. Start.
Start shaving them?
Shaming.
I like that.
Oh,
I
Yes,
I thought you
saving the
said
sex workers.
I'm
shaving.
married, so you guys have fun shaving them, but they are like the right wing is
More
like
for
we need to
me.
start shaming them.
More for me.
Yeah, you go at it, buddy. You do one for me too, pal.
Sex workers.
No,
They can shave
okay.
themselves. I was so
I'm gonna
confused.
put the kibosh on all of that right now because here's the thing: if you're
Hmm.
talking about genitals, you should not shave it. Shaving it is bit like clippings, okay, but
Trimming? I
like
trim the shit out
just
of it.
trimming, exactly.
What about
Like
cribbing it?
Why am I
Mm.
trimming it?
Why are we
Uh,
trimming it?
Oh, I said trimming.
Mm.
I'm sorry. I just I enunciate like
It's
an
okay.
idiot.
I remember Dan is now in professional mode because we're now out of the
exactly.
depressing democratic years. We're back in professional
Um,
Dan mode. Now the joke's coming hot and heavy
I'm
and
just
sliding
going
in.
to finish out my statement by saying we should not go scorched earth on on that particular part of ground. That's all I'm saying. Please continue.
Speak for yourself. I go scorched earth all the time in that particular part of ground. I'm balder than a bear with
This
alopecia.
reminds me of a really terrible joke.
What kind of a joke does that remind you of?
Uh, do you know how to get rid of pubic lice? And I'm probably gonna fuck it up, like to be
How?
honest.
How?
Um, you shave half of your pubes and then light the other half on fire. When they come running out, you stab them with an ice pick.
Ah, that'll do. That'll do. That'll do.
Hey, it's gonna be getting cold soon. Hopefully, we have enough snow to leave your ice pick outside.
Yeah, you
Oh
got
yeah,
my ass.
snow.
Well
You had
played.
it, you could give out for lobotomies.
Okay.
Snow. What is this? What is this snow you speak of?
Ooh, it's giving weird feedback now.
Oh, I'm
We'll
like a
see.
motherfucker here.
NB, it's lasering you, and I don't know why. It was not doing that all night, and it just started doing that now. So we're going to keep a watch on that. All right. So we have obviously witnessed one of the most historic defeats ever run by any party, especially of the modern era. We watched
Ooh,
somebody get their
buddy,
ass worked and murked. Absolutely beaten into the goddamn ground.
I'm speaking.
With no
I'm
lube.
speaking here. I'm
Yeah,
speaking.
you are speaking and you are tweaking.
Ew. What's up, MGP?
Yeah. So so Kamala here, fucking. Oh my God. Every. Why did she start listening to Hillary Clinton? She was doing great when they was calling him weird. What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, so is that how you want to start dissecting what
Was
went wrong? There are a lot of great ways to pick apart how the fuck did this fail. I
More
would
than
like to
anything, they're
start.
just liberals. They don't. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Start.
Well, where I'd like to start is remembering what is now being forgotten by the left, where we are as a group failing. Okay? As a collective, right now, we are failing to remember that when she came out the gate, no matter how undemocratic it was, there was a wave of relief that somebody under the age of 70 was going to be in the race and potentially in the White House. That first 30-day period was for them a honeymoon, and for people like us, cool, this is going to be boring genocide versus cartoon genocide every day. Great. It's miserable, but there's something that you know is coming, that you know how to control for. That's what we all thought. And in the first 30 days, that's what was conveyed to us. That's what we were promised, that we were not going to have cartoon time every day.
Well,
Thank
yeah, we
God.
were fed some massive copium.
We had such good copium going, such deliciously good copium running. Thank God that on day 32 we picked Liz Cheney and Hillary Clinton to listen to, lest we forget that Hillary Clinton was famously defeated by the Trumpster, and that Liz Cheney was so low in her vote she got something like 1% in her primary while she was the fucking incumbent.
She
She was
was
so
Oh
amassing
yeah,
a.
and let's
She
also
was a.
send Clinton because Clinton is great, and he's gonna also just talk shit
well, we're not
about
even there yet.
immigrants.
We're not even there.
She
Don't
was
don't
amassing a
spoil it
super
for the
friends
fans.
level. She was amassing a super friends level event of all the most horrible people in the fucking politics,
Again, running
and
before we
acting like it was
walk,
fine.
people. Running before we walk. Because remember, what was on everybody's lips at 30 days into that campaign, hanging around in August and September? Everybody's lips were all about abortion rights. Everybody was just, finally, we're going to have
But
somebody to
Which
protect
that
women.
was the only thing she wanted to offer to black people. Like that's something we fucking care about.
Whoa, well, yes. Well, that's number one. That issue polls really well against white voters the on-demand
I
ad
mean,
hoc
but like
abortion.
it was like recipients of a Pell Grant who had some kind of right.
It's
And
like help the
honestly,
police
it
are
didn't
whooping my
even
ass.
matter
It's like
because
help.
she
It's like help the police are
overwhelmingly
whooping my
got the
ass,
black
and
vote
then
anyway.
it's like help the police are
True.
whooping my ass, and then she comes over like, oh yeah, well we can give you guys abortions.
Right.
Not, and this isn't me trying to be an ass, but like, like black people had nothing to do with this. The black people overwhelmingly voted for Kamala.
Gang, I appreciate
Us also
how
stayed
eager we
home
are.
and also stayed home.
I appreciate how
Put
eager
that
we
in there.
are to shit all over this, but let's take it one step at a time. Because remember,
Yes, sir.
we're sculpting a narrative of failure right now. We're leading the viewers down a little bit of path of memory lane over the past 3 months.
Oh, that's
Please,
true.
please
Okay,
continue, Dan.
so
Yeah.
Please.
So
I also want to say
Do
at
do
those
do
3 months
do.
in the copium, I think we forgot like an important factor even during that point is that we're a racist and misogynist country.
oh, everybody remembers that. How can you not?
Oh
We're
no, we don't forget that.
oh yeah, we know that one
I
all
mean,
too well.
like the copium hitting hard at that moment, and I'm like, yeah, we don't like women, and we especially don't like black women. So this ain't, like I'm trying to say that I saw it for what it was back then, but hoped that that wasn't the case.
Well, like I said, let's walk the viewers all the way through this wonderful world of failure. Let's go right on through it. So we're right up now to where she decides that Liz Cheney and Hillary Clinton are her gals, her gal pals. And the reason,
Wow.
my best friend, the reason
Oh,
we're
and at
doing
this
that.
point,
Hmm.
I think she's also said that her point on Israel is that she will defend.
No, that expression comes out later. Again, spoilers, people, spoilers, please. Dan does know what a little. I understand that over the past 3 years, I have just absolutely giving up doing my job any semblance of correctly. No control on this train. But I promise you, I do remember how to tell a good story. I
My
do.
apologies. I will shut the fuck up.
It's all right. Just let me get to the first
Oh,
jump
just
off
give it
point
a
where we
minute.
can
Give it
begin
a
the
minute.
dunks.
There's always
Get
what
on
he's
me, my
saying. Yeah.
kind sir. I will shut up.
You don't have to shut up, but just let me cook for a second. Let me cook. So remember, at this time, during that first 30 days, we're running on a campaign of pure joyous vibes, largely that the old man is out of the race, much to the chagrin of Mr. Biden, which that's going to come up. That's going to come up as a big ass problem. Um, and we're running on the vibes campaign, right? We're running on it feels good. Tim Walz is making everybody feel like they have a non-racist uncle. Kamala Harris is your hot black funkable aunt who comes hanging around with her tits hanging out just a little bit, of cleavage there. Give you a little taste. And she married in anyway, so like it's not like it's incest. You can go for it. You know what I mean? Like your uncle turns racist, you're gonna bang her right there. So she's bringing it out, but she's girl bossing it too. And you're like, okay, she's girl bossing it. Fine. That's kind of hot. Let's face it. And most importantly, every Friday after Biden does something horrific to the Gazans, Kamala Harris just goes, hey, when I'm in charge, we're not going to be doing that anymore. I want you to know that. And the reason she's doing that is twofold. One, Kamala Harris is not a battle hardened ideologue on Israel. She's an empty sieve. It don't matter to her what happens to the Gazans. She's not in love with Netanyahu. So there's a real opportunity there. There's a window where voting for Kamala, if you're a leftist and you're paying attention to what the administration is telegraphing, she's countermanding Biden.
It
Okay?
sounded downright great.
Yeah, compared to what we were getting, right? Compared to what we were getting, that's fantastic. Wouldn't it be lovely if that were true? Ha ha ha. Wouldn't it though? So, we spent about 4 weeks doing that. But again, remember, about that 4 week marker, just a few days over that first 30 days, we have the convention, we coronate her, whatever. At that point, during that coronation, of course, we're bringing out the worst of the fucking worst. We're dragging out the Clintons. We're trying to court the Cheneys and successfully achieving it. We're doing all sorts of rancid, nasty shit that really starts boding not well for the whole fucking affair. You know what I mean? And those of us who are on the left see the freight train a coming. We're used to this game from these goddamn bastards. So when we see it coming, we do what we always do and go, I'm telling you right now. Of course, libs don't want to hear that. Right now that we've got the Clintons on board, and now that we've got the Cheneys on board, and keep in mind, the Clintons have a disdain for the working class, and now that the workers are starting to skew towards Republicans because Democrats are intentionally alienating them in favor of the upper middle and high classes. And Liz Cheney has a chip on her shoulder against the Republicans because they fucking booted her out of her party. 400 people in her state voted for her out of fucking 40,000. And they laughed in her face. They laughed in her fucking face and told her to take her fat ass and get the fuck out and never come back around again. Or we're going to start beating you with a cane because we hate you so much. So you have somebody who has a chip on their shoulder against the Republicans chirping in her fucking ear, and another person who has a chip against the Republicans and Trump chirping in her fucking ear about how miserable these people are and how she needs to shut the fuck up and run as the incumbent. When she's not the incumbent. The incumbent is Joseph Robinette Brandon, the old decaying man. So she begins a defensive campaign. Remember when Tim Walz was running around saying all those nice things, and again, it was like having that one white guy at the barbecue you knew you could trust? Well, Liz Cheney and Clinton getting her here, you need to shut him the fuck up. He's writing checks your ass can't cash. Which, to some degree, no smoke without fire. They weren't going to cash those checks. There was no way in hell they were going to. So they tell good old Timmy that he needs to shut his fucking mouth and fall in line. That's a problem. That's a big old problem because as far as white guys go, he's actually appealing. We got any comments on this point right now? I open the floor back up before we continue our wonderful little narrative. Remember, we're on about day 35 when she first makes her public appearance making out with Liz Cheney to try to get the lesbian hate vote. All 4 lesbians who hate everything and everyone all of the time. She locked those 4 fuckers in. They were part of the coalition now.
Let's just picture that scene in Kingpin where the landlady is making the face at Woody Harrelson.
Okay. Pictured.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I don't disagree with anything you've said.
So far, we all on board.
I think you made Kamala sound a little more appealing than she was supposed to be, or she ever was. But I guess you're going from a liberal perspective, correct?
Oh, I'm certainly going from a liberal to tepid left perspective.
Okay. Continue.
And remember, the ardent leftists, we were a little bit more joyous that she got it. We were a little more relieved that she was behind the wheel rather than that old fuddy-duddy idiot.
Well, yeah, I mean,
we weren't immune.
It was a definite no compared to a maybe. Even I gave her a maybe at that point.
Exactly. So let's not pretend like we all weren't on board, or most of us weren't. There's that section of us who are never going to do it no matter what. We're as low information as the next Republican.
No, if she like honestly, I thought it was at that point if she had said if she hadn't backtracked on every single thing, it would have been like, okay, we could do this.
We can stomach it.
Right.
It would have had a very big voting for Hillary Clinton to own the Republicans vibes. It wouldn't have felt good.
Yeah, and I'm familiar with that because I did that.
Exactly. It would have felt better than what we were doing, though. If we're being honest. So we get to that point, right? We get to that wonderful point. And thank God, we now have locked in, the narrative that only the Democrats are going to protect women's rights. If you're on the left, I think we all recall what administration lost women's rights? Well, wasn't Trump. Donnie was too fat and stupid to get the job done, as is the tradition of a Trump. Brain dead, unable to seal the deal properly. But under good old Biden, who, as a Democrat in 2020, was disgusted by the notion of having abortion rights as part of his coalition, lest we forget, good old Biden lets it happen. Good old Joe lets that shit slip right through everybody's fingers because, again, he's ideologically predisposed to hating abortion. He is an ardent old school conservative Catholic who hates abortion. So when people are like, he's going to protect it, in what fucking timeline would Joe Biden be the choice to
Are
protect it?
you saying that our elected official is the puppet of the Pope?
I'm saying that our elected official, acting in his capacity as a moral actor, quote unquote, I'm going to really put air quotes on that, as a moral actor
Thank
with an
you.
ideological opposite, you're welcome, with an opposition to abortion, when the chance to let it fall to the wayside without protecting it, absolutely did the thing because he could launder it through blaming the other party for doing the dirty work. Even though he's the one who left the fucking, he's the one who left the fucking door open on the car and the baby fell out of it. He's the motherfucker who let this happen.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mmm. Wonderful. Good job, everybody, indeed. So, the thought was, since Kamala is a woman, which is not something she talked up too much, even at that
She's
point,
also black, but
she was somebody who was, she's black and Southeast Asian.
yeah,
Uh,
person of color, if you will.
a classic Blasian, if one will.
Mhm. Mhm.
Which, side note, she, she could have brought it back. All right, I'm just gonna say it. She could have brought Blasian back.
Mhm.
I noticed we left that shit on the table. It was right there.
No, the Blasians are. Ugh, they got the work cut out for them now.
They do, because now they got to be like, I'm not like that one. That ain't me. Okay, so you're running around now at this point with an anti-abortion candidate, Liz Cheney, who thinks Democrats, and I want to be really fair to her, who thinks Democrats enjoy masturbating while cutting the heads off of infants. And when you're like, Dan, you're being ridiculous. I'm just quoting the woman as she spoke her mind in the early year of our Lord 2023.
That's just a normal Tuesday for me.
Yeah, exactly. What a normal thing to say
What
about a
do
Democrat.
Republicans do? What do Republicans do then?
Well, the baby has to be born. The baby
Ah,
has to be born, and they solemnly do it in order to further the goals of capitalism. It's completely different.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, well, because it's such a big difference. How you
Mhm.
kill your babies is as important as if you're killing babies. And the answer is always you must be killing your babies. You
Mhm.
must
Mhm.
be. hmm Yep, as the Lord intended. So,
Okay, so this totally fits the
Kind
fucking shit I posted, and I'll post it in chat. Hold on.
kind of like the Glenn Ross thing, like always be closing.
yeah, always be carving off baby
ABC.
heads. Always be carving off
See,
baby
Always
heads.
be racist.
A
I'm
B
so
C
I'm
O
so I'm so excited. Like I finally got
B
the
H.
message
There you go. See, now you're part of the coalition. The
because
coalition
I
of the willing.
didn't. I missed because I missed the
Bringing it
memo
back.
that was supposed to talk me into capitalism like the first time around.
Yeah.
But now that somebody is explaining to me what I do in order
Hey,
to survive in this world, I feel so much better.
Yeah. See, we made it
Dan,
pleasant.
if
Yeah.
you look in the chat
Looking.
in general,
Oh, baby electric chair.
I said the American dream, and I posted that earlier, so that totally
Oh, I didn't see
fits
that
into
one.
what you were just.
It can be for girls too.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Warms my heart. So then, right now we devolve into month 2, and month 2 is okay. Now the big girls are talking.
Uttering babies is gender neutral.
It is gender neutral. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't it bliss?
Equality.
Equality of outcomes. Either way, the baby is going to die. That's what they're talking about, right? That's what equality of outcome is. So,
Well, but hold on though, like, because here's
Sure.
the thing, like the babies might die like more or less in the same rates that they would already, but one of the things that's happening is like they're taking the moms with them.
Well, that's an interesting point. It seems like if you do what the liberals want to do, babies die at a certain rate, and if you do what the conservatives want to do, you get a 2-for-1, you get a BOGO. And who under capitalism doesn't love a good deal? See what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
See what I'm
well,
saying?
and I'm just asking questions here, but like the quote unquote pro-life people like aren't.
Yeah, they aren't pro-life. We already know.
You mean the pro-life people who
Wait, what?
bomb abortion clinics? You're
Wait, no, they're in this to save lives, right?
are you going to sit here and tell me that the people who bomb abortion clinics don't care if people live or die? Really?
Well,
I'm shocked.
that's really just a fringe portion of their following. Like the other members are of their you know organization are well, they want to help people, right?
Are you telling me the people who perpetrate violent rapes, are you telling me that they are against women?
Wow.
Oh my. What a stirring realization everybody should have already fucking had, but the news media made sure to bury just to make sure that Republicans would look better.
The misogyny.
But my misogynist.
But but
I'm sorry.
Misogynist.
Some rapes are acceptable. They
Well,
are a necessary evil to achieve the goal of white power.
okay.
right, and
Body, my
also, I
choice.
mean, and it's very important to understand that like the definition of rape is really going to have to
It's really loose.
mm, it like because first of all, like these laws that say that like a wife can be quote unquote raped by her husband, come on, man, like we can't be having that, so we're gonna have to get rid of that. And there's some other verbiage in like the common thing right now that's like just gonna have to go because you know how women are. Y- You know how these broads are, right? You
Yeah.
remember the whole "Me too." Yeah, me too. Like, I didn't keep my fucking knees together. So anyway,
Me too is
um,
me too. They just mean I'm a turf too.
yeah, like, eh, who really needs to listen to those broads anyway?
Yeah, those
But,
broads. Come on.
but, no, the whole thing with, giving getting some of that power back, over like who gets to make the big decisions in life. I I think that's really important, and it's going to be important in this term.
That is going to be a focus of it. And on some level,
Who
no.
really counts as human when it comes to human rights?
Well,
A wink wink nod nod.
Nobody. Trick question.
I'll say the first offensive thing of the evening. I think we all know I'm primed to. No
You've
smoke
earned it.
without fire. If you sublimate all of your hate of women, right? If you sublimate it and you sublimate all your hate of capitalism, and then you all run it back through your misogyny, right? Who are you gonna blame for all your problems? It's not gonna be fat asses like Elon Musk who are actively ruining your life, which would make perfect fucking sense. You're gonna
You're
sublimate
gonna
it
blame
through.
the women.
You're gonna blame women. After all, they have so much power they could have killed you before you were even born. That
Mhm.
sounds miserable. Although in
Women
reality,
have all the power.
Although in reality, number one, of course, if you're able to articulate the argument that they could kill me before I was born, they'd have to be time travelers, and women don't have the ability to time travel. So I think we can rule that danger out.
Man, I could only dream.
Time
Well, and they
travel.
Love Dan.
manipulate men with their pussies and their titties,
Hmm.
and
I would watch the fuck out of time traveling women.
It would be interesting to see how many of them are just boring, and then how many of them are like fully psychotic, like a man would be.
They would be like, I brought you
female
into this
Doctor
earth. I
Who.
can take you out and mean it.
Yeah. Now you actually are going to be aborted, dude. Welcome to hell.
Pre-aborted. That's a good movie idea.
Pre-abortion is a pretty sweet movie idea. Put a cap in that. There actually is a movie like that starring Alice Lowe, where
I'm not
Alice
gonna
Lowe
lie.
has an.
If I could time travel, I'm sorry. I'm gonna say this real quick. If I could time travel, I would go back to the time right before Hitler's dad was gonna nut in his mom, and I would kick him.
Well, he shoot his mom and his dad at the same time. They both raised him. It's fair.
When you say kick, do you mean immolate?
I mean, like, I'm gonna walk up and just kick his ass right off of her.
Oh, I get it. That way he's like a leg load. Nice.
Yeah, but
He'll
like, I
never have
mean,
existed, and I would have literally got the kick ass.
Hmm.
yeah, but he
MB
could
cast
just
contesticular torsion.
but he could just like maybe jitting her later, and like we'd have like
Hitler with
bizarro.
the part
Yeah,
with the
Hitler.
other way.
Yeah, like
That's totally different.
But I did have to love the idea of like, all right, a woman dates a guy, lost doc, hey. So here's the setup. This woman is trying to find somebody to date. She starts seeing this guy.
Okay.
Shit doesn't work out. He's got kids. And she's like, ugh, well, he should never be allowed to be a father. And like, so she uses the time traveling woman thing to like go and try to convince like his baby mama not to breed with him.
Yeah, no, that's a legitimate, like, it's a legitimate use of time travel.
I'm willing to hear this one out. Yeah. You know what? Make this pitch. Make this pitch is all I'm saying. I'll write this movie. I'm on board. This is a script I actually can write.
Is it a movie, or like would that be a series?
No, it'd be
Probably
terrible
be
as a series.
Probably be a 10-episode Netflix series that was 2 episodes too long.
Alright,
Yeah.
so I lied. I'm gonna go back in time and seduce Hitler's mom.
Yeah.
There's one
There
full
you
episode about
go.
a side character that doesn't matter.
No, here's the trick. You bang his dad, then you have the abortion because you time travel back to the future.
Hey.
And the movie's
So
just called
literally
Aborting Hitler.
one for the team.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
a
if I
weird,
go back now, they'll see I'm fixed, so it wouldn't matter.
it's a weird version of Time Cop, man.
Well, yeah, that means you got to go back to convince a younger you to
Yeah,
go back.
You would only be able to time travel back to yourself.
Wait, what?
The length of your lifespan.
There would have to be some there would have to be some limits there to make it interesting.
So you have to keep time traveling back to find a woman who can do the deed, and then time travel her forward enough.
Yes.
In her own lifespan.
Like a leapfrog.
Well, you only got to get her. You only got to get her from the 1890s to the 1950s. That's only 60 years. As long as she's 18, that's 78. So she'd still be alive
none of this
theoretically.
is that far back.
You just got to find a woman
find
who's
the
79.
most heinous bitch during that time.
Yeah.
Let her fuck him, and then just offer.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that means we got to kill a random woman, though. That doesn't sound as appealing.
No. She's gonna be a terrible human being.
Oh, that's a twist. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a twist. That way, it's morally okay to shoot her, because it's Nietzsche's sister. We get Nietzsche's sister in there.
Yeah, but if she's a terrible human being, she might be like, "Look, I just got hella dick down. I don't think I want to go through with this. I'm having this baby.
By Daddy Adolf.
Well, that's why we got to kill her.
Yeah, but you got to get back to her. She's got to get back to you first.
Well, yeah, because you're there. You watch. You're watching her do it.
Maybe she escapes and fucking quantum leaps around the universe, you know?
Well, she can only go through the source of her lifetime, so you do have a finite number of options.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
See, this is why I'm liking that whole concept of like retroactively getting rid of your ex's kids. Like,
no, I'm like I said, I'm willing to hear this one out. We can write this movie. In fact, this might be the special next year.
Good. Yeah. No, I would totally watch this.
Sorry, I don't want to see it anymore. I've just heard that M. Night Shyamalan was hired to write it. No,
bullshit. I'm right here. I'm not M. Night Shyamalan. I'm right here. What is going on in this house?
Oh, M. Night, you're Shyamalan.
Parents turning random nouns into domestic abuse. That was the game, right? That's what we were playing?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Oh, I did that.
Yeah, it's great. All right, so. So
what you want?
If we're going to move on through our little tale through time, we move into month 2, which is Kamala is the incumbent and hides from everybody at the advice of the two most election-winning people in the past 8 years, Hillary Clinton and Liz Cheney. We spend that next month with her largely silent, no media appearances while Trump is just running around doing whatever, because the Biden team's strategy for Biden in 2020 was hide the fact this guy's brain ain't all there and let Trump go make himself look like a dickhole. Which, in 2020, if you're in the middle of, massacring your own base, and your own base is slowly on their deathbed figuring it out, so their loved ones are like, maybe we shouldn't have trusted this Trump guy with our survival because he's a fucking idiot. To the max, and we're dying now, right? Right? So that maybe his votes.
Assassination attempts have happened to Trump at this point.
Not in 2020.
No, I'm talking about in this timeline here. How many assassination attempts are we in?
Well, those don't have any bearing on the election. That guy got 3 million less votes, so it's not like people really coalesced around him after he got shot at twice. After he set up that firefighter to die for him.
What I'm trying to say is that he's been out and shot at twice where she's nowhere to be seen.
Yes.
That's what I'm getting at. Like.
Well, yeah, but the people were just like, maybe they'll get him. The cold fact about that one is those assassination attempts backfired greatly because they thought that would make Trump beloved. And each one of those fake-ass assassination attempts made them realize, like, oh, they just actually want him dead. That's not good for us. Because as it turns out, yeah, nobody wants that guy alive, but the most worst awful piss pigs who were like, we got to put ear diapers on now to celebrate Trump getting shot and surviving, like he's the Jesus of whatever. Even though, the first time it punctured his eardrum and it scared him so bad the next time, the assassin wasn't even allowed to pull the trigger before they shot him to death. They set that second guy up because he was too fucking scared to get shot at. But I digress because that's not really our story.
They didn't kill him. They arrested him.
I thought they killed him.
No, the second guy they arrested.
Yeah, they couldn't even... Okay, so they were even too pussy to even have a gunfire off around him. That man is scared of guns right now. For the record, a loud enough bang, and he's going to have the Secret Service open fire and murder everybody in a crowd, which, like, trash can lids, people. Trash can lids. They're your best friends right now. Firecrackers and trash can lids.
Play the cymbals.
Play the cymbals.
All you kids in elementary school who used to do that popper thing with loose leaf paper.
Yeah.
We need all of you guys showing up.
Everyone.
Oh shit. He's the definition of the guy ducking when the gun track is later in the song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I spent
play all the songs with gunshots in them.
Yeah.
I spent the last 6 months confusing Liz Cheney with Meghan McCain.
Have you?
Yeah.
The difference is one's younger than the other. They're both large, big-breasted blonde women who are the devil.
So my exes.
Yeah.
I'll be here all night.
Yeah. Well,
Wait,
I hope. You're fun to have around.
So didn't like MIA go totally off the rails Like,
The songstress?
yeah, because I
Yeah,
was just
she did.
thinking. I was just thinking, like, how great would it be if we could get a performance?
So
Paper
did
planes and then have
Yeah.
all the
I have
gunshots
a
in that
big
song.
fucking wiener
But
keeps crawling in my face.
Don't worry, we got Bone Thugs still.
She's a Trumpster, for the record.
right, but like, so
Yeah.
he could have her play at the inauguration party, and we.
I'm telling you, we got Bone Thugs. They got a song that's nothing but gunshots. The whole song is the
Well,
gunshot
no,
I
but
mean, in
like,
that case,
chorus.
but
it should be clipping or
I'm
something.
talking about people who would be happy to play for the inauguration.
No,
Mhm.
Oh yeah, no, that would
crazy,
work. Yeah, a
Are you
little bit of
Are you
subversion.
kidding
crazy
me?
bone.
I would
Crazy
just
Bone
curate
feels
The
like
my own
problem
a
is
mix of
supporter.
just gunshots for you. I got this.
the
Yeah.
problem is we'd have to resurrect her career to do that.
Crazy Bone feels like a Trump
But
supporter.
because yeah, I'm just thinking because you know how like they always pull these like broke ass whoever's out of whatever who are like, oh fuck yeah, I'll support you. Like
Yeah.
keep
Well,
that grade streak coming, right? But like and her background would check out, you
mhm.
see, because I'm sure they'd look at like, you know, are you a loyal servant? Well, you know, she's
But they
been
wouldn't. But the thing is that they wouldn't though because of her father and the freedom fighting that he was a part of, back in her home country. So they would look at her as like, you know, coming from a radical leftist family.
Well, yeah, but she's a radical right winger. It's like she broke the mind virus. That she broke the woke mind virus.
Mhm.
No. This
the
this tracks. We can get this
the
to happen.
the woke mind virus can be cured.
hmm
Mhm.
That's like the perfect narrative. That's literally Dave Rubin's career, who will now invariably be part of the Department of Education as it is pulled apart.
Oh.
Smartest man on YouTube, Dave Rubin. Okay, I said it without throwing up for 4 seconds. You guys have to give me the $5.
Okay, can I borrow $10 from someone?
I did it. I did the thing, goddammit. Now you owe me. Ugh. Christ. That's the only man who went on that Jesse that show with that right winger Jesse, that black dude who actually is kind of dumb, and was like that guy was like, so you're retarded, and he was like Dave Rubin's like, no, I thought you were, and he's like, no, but you're retarded. He's like, no, well he's like, but you're gay, yeah, so you're brain tarded. You know, they had a whole thing about it. It was very weird. That's all I'm saying.
Did you
That
It's
doesn't
always weird.
surprise me.
It's always weird with them.
It is always
It-
weird with
That's
them.
That's why that weirdo line was working great.
Yeah, remember those first 30 days are the era of the weirdo. What happened 30 days out? They were told they couldn't say that no more because it was too mean to the fucking
It
Republicans.
was too mean to Republicans.
Because we were trying to court the goddamn Republicans instead of the left, which, by the way, she was handily courting every Friday for 4 straight weeks with her secret news drops of, yo, I don't actually like what Biden's doing with this whole Israel shit, and I'm gonna change it. I don't like
Hey,
it.
at least Walls was sitting there calling Trump a dipshit openly, or Vance a dipshit openly.
Yeah, well, at the end of the
That's
election,
about the only win.
here's the thing: they kept it
The dipshit you took a fall for.
when
You took a
when
dive.
we're gonna get to that because that signals a very big change, and that's when we should have figured out that this shit was gonna hit the rails real hard. Okay, that should have been the signifier.
It sounds like you're saying that she was doing her thing, and then the harpies flew in,
The demons.
and she disappeared. She disappeared for a minute and came out. She was like, "We need to court the right wing."
Yes.
I just realized you were humming the Imperial March.
I am just
the flight of the
gonna throw
Harpies.
out
Yeah.
there. I'm just gonna throw out there that our large adult son senator the
Quotation marks around
ogre,
adult.
yeah,
He needs
uh
supervision.
the ogre John Fetterman.
The large ghoul.
Yeah.
I
Here's
think you
the
mean,
thing.
I think you mean Fetterman's monster.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you remember
That's
the
The
book,
monster,
Well,
the
that's
monster
that's pretty much
formerly known
that's
as
what
Fetterline.
came out of Walter Reed,
Fetter-
Fetterman's monster,
yeah,
because he seemed, I mean, like, he wasn't perfect, but he seemed like a kind of okay guy. We he was the lieutenant governor and was just like, yeah, fuck all this shit. And then they got him to run for Senate, and the machine got a hold of him. He got to Washington. He lost his fucking mind.
yeah, had a stroke instead of being body doubled.
The stroke was during the campaign. I'm talking about when he went to actual Washington
And they gave him
and
some nice
suffered.
sweatpants and blew his mind.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, the story was that he had an episode of severe depression.
Yeah, they had to put him on suicide watch and walk him away from public, and then out comes this thing. I get you.
Right. But like I
Education.
also kind of wonder though, is that what happened? Like did they brainwash my boy while he was in treatment?
Well, yeah, they
Yes,
gave him the
Or
They brainwashed him with a couple checks.
yeah.
or did he find out something once he got down there that fucking literally melted his mind? They locked him up in Walter. Yes, it literally melted his brain out of his ears. They locked him up in Walter Reed. They gave his family a bunch of Israel checks, and then they sent out the
The body double, the monster. Yeah, the beast. They replaced his Bane with an Israeli super soldier.
They sent out 2001 Bull Buchanan. If you're a wrestling fan, you get that.
I did
Will
not,
they send?
but
Will
I'm
they
going to pretend I
send
did.
will they send the cum sucking robots out at him?
No, those aren't robots. Those are good Israeli soldiers doing the cum
the
sucking.
Oh, okay.
no.
Okay.
Well, I mean, but there
Oh, that's
are
what the females in Israeli soldiers do. Okay.
No, that's what the male Israeli soldiers do. Those are the cum boys.
Oh, those are the cum boys. They
Yeah,
got a
that's
cum
that's
boy
what
battalion?
that's what the didn't you know that's what Cumtown was named after? It was those dudes who put the thing up the guy's butt and make him jizz so they can save
No,
the sperm.
I don't know cum town like you guys.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm white, so of
I've
course I know
I've
Cumtown.
never listened to a single episode, but what I will tell you is that Boston Dynamics, like everybody keeps posting that fucking robot dog with the gun.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. The
There's
robot dog with
there's a mm-hmm
like
with
a sex bot version, because of course
the
a mobile cum
the
slurping robot.
the cum okay, they dress the dog kind of like the Hamburglar.
Yeah.
So he's the Cumburglar dog. He's got the little mask and the little striped thing, and he's also got the means of collecting the sample, if you know what I mean.
Oh, and don't
What?
forget the cum copter.
I like
They
how we're
gotta have
laughing
they gotta
about
have a
something
drone.
deathly serious to the IDF. This is Israeli culture we're talking about here.
Good old Israeli culture.
This is just
Oh,
just Israeli
I
culture.
find-
Are
I
we
find
back
this whole
to
conversation
pseudoscience
anti-Semitic.
race
Okay.
stuff?
Yeah.
Are we back to
cum-
pseudoscience race stuff? I thought we talked about that like an
I'm
hour
sorry,
ago.
but they're the actual cum burglars. So
Yeah. Okay, but like to be fair, do you guys condemn Hamas? Okay. Well, you're not talking about all the cum burgling they're doing.
look, they're so
Are they?
oppressive to
No.
us. They're
God,
talking
no.
shit about our culture.
Hamas may or may not be a radical Islamist organization, and they're still like just fucking miles ahead of them in normalcy. You could hang out with a Hamas guy who's not like on the duty, and you'd be like, okay, this guy's a little preachy for my tastes, but
Well, maybe you could.
I could maybe.
Because I mean, I was thinking like if I could pass, I was
Puff pass
thinking
to the Hamas
I
soldiers.
was no, just like butch it up enough. I was thinking the same thing about the fucking Taliban, probably. Like you could find a guy or two in that org who's an alright guy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, he's like,
They're making a lot of sense from their point of view.
I don't agree
Right.
with everything, but like, all right, I get the appeal.
Let him cook.
Yeah, let him cook. Let's see. He might hit a gem here. He might hit a banger, and I kind of don't want to hold him off.
Right. And same thing. I'm willing to bet. I mean, I don't know that much about Hamas.
To bet.
So like,
Yeah. At least let them state their case, I guess.
To bet I can kick a cumboy's ass. That's
That was
one
a
of,
hard setup, but it paid off.
I'm sorry. That's one of my
Good job.
favorite. That's one of my favorite old Maoist puns. To bet I can kick your ass. That's an old Maoist pun. I've been telling that one for 20 years now, and I still love it every time I say it.
so what's going on with Timor, yo?
Okay, so back to finally bringing it back around. Thank you for the opening to do so. Finally bringing it back around. We're in month 2. We're in the incumbent lock, right? We're in the maybe the Republicans are people we need to court. So then we move into month number 3 in this failed campaign. And this is where at the beginning of month number 3, aka the end of October, shit hits the fucking fan in terms of insanity. Because this is where, mind you, we're moving from weird Republicans who are an existential threat to democracy, which seems to be backed up by, a little thing called everything a Republican does on a day-to-day basis, as opposed to the Democrats who are like, maybe they're not good, but we're trying to save democracy here one step at a time, people, and we're willing to hear this out afterwards, which is like, when you're also promising the end of genocide, we're starting to talk about something that resembles a decent pitch, right? Especially when you compare it to Joe Brandon, who was like, yeah, I ended the Afghanistan war, but I made sure to start a war in actual fucking Europe. I managed to be the belligerent in a European war in the year of our Lord 2024 as a fucking American. That's an impressive fail. All because Lockheed Martin was pissed off they were going to lose some money. I can't.
Or not gain as much money.
Or not gain as much money. Yeah, I can't even fucking believe that's a real thing.
But that's
But
a fucking trick of. Sorry, I'm gonna
and
shut up.
the best part is he did it fast. He did it lickety split into his goddamn presidency. When he ended Afghanistan, the fucking conservatives were pissed, but there was a reason to be like, yo, my man might actually be based. Hold on. Like, for all his fucking failings and all his ideological, like, I refuse to budge on X, Y, and Z, he budged on this? The thing, like, he championed and cheerleaded and was like, I will personally give the Bushes a blowjob to make this happen. He was like, I was wrong, and I don't want to die with this on my head. Was like, damn, dude, okay, cool.
When he did that, there was like all this fucking criticism, but I was just like, holy. It was the same kind of feeling I had when the Berlin Wall fell.
Yeah.
It was like, holy shit, this is for really real's over?
Yeah. You know what, though? At the time, I bet you were like, for real, it's over? And now you're like, for real, it's over. Like,
well, yeah,
they
because
should have kept it. They had a sweet wall.
I saw, yeah, at the time, because here's what they taught us. That the two sides, no, like but when we're talking about social studies,
yeah,
I went to public school in an era where they actually taught us shit. Maybe it was a little warped, but
well,
and that's what I'm gonna talk about right here. So travel with me. In the little years, we were like, because it was like, oh, why do we not like Russia? Why do we not like the USSR? And the explanation was that there were two things: communism and democracy.
Mm-hmm.
They conveniently left capitalism out of the fucking equation.
Well,
and so we were taught that the communists hated democracy.
Mm.
Well, that's interesting because I had a different experience. But go ahead.
Where
No, I'm
where
just saying,
where have
like,
I heard
when
that one before?
that was the deal. So there I was, and it was like, oh, the Berlin Wall fell, yay! And like, oh, all of these people can experience democracy now.
Mm,
And
yeah,
and
didn't have to
looking
kick
they're
back,
back.
they're not going to get shot anymore for coming to our side. Oh, what a great day for you.
you know what's really funny about that? They really did shoot people trying to get over the wall. You know who they were trying? You know who they were shooting at? Every time they saw an American spy try to get over the wall, they shot at him relentlessly. That's who they were shooting trying to get over the wall. They were like, you stay out. You don't
Hey,
get to be
you're
here.
you're talking to a child raised by Reagan.
Yeah.
That is so very on brand for victims of communism.
Yes. They sure shot a lot of Americans who were trying to sneak in and do bad shit in the Soviet Union. Ain't that weird?
Mhm. Mhm.
A bunch
Well,
of
no,
Odd.
we were told we were told that it was like, oh, like reg basically we were primed to think of anyone like in the, well, sorry, white people in the under the umbrella of the USSR. We were basically primed to think of them as refugees.
yes. Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were.
The
Those
the
poor
the the
Russians
good
kicking our ass.
the good kind. I mean, and like there was, I'm sorry, like when I was that age, there was no talk of Mexico. There was no, like, that wasn't a thing. Like worrying about worrying about like Mexicans coming over our board. Like what?
Yeah, what the hell are you talking? Of course, that would be cool if they came over. We know they do, and it's fine.
Yeah, we all knew.
Right.
We all had Mexican. We had Mexican nearby neighbors.
Yeah.
They were like, those guys are all right,
Well, they're pretty cool.
or
And
at least at the bare minimum, not the worst neighbors I've ever had.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That goes to the trash whites. Sorry, guys.
Well,
Just
hey,
completely abandoning your children to fucking run around and start spewing racist rhetoric. That's the lowest neighbor I've ever had.
yeah. What do you want me to say? I'm sorry for being
It's
white.
the lowest. It's the lowest.
Oh, now you want me to apologize for white culture, do you? Okay. Look at you. Look at you getting on here.
Hating the shit out of each other, and that sounds about white.
That sounds
Mhm.
about white. Yeah. So
oh,
we
I
moved in.
I
mean,
feel
yeah.
bad for the littlest one. Ugh.
We we moved in. We moved into the arc where now we're courting Republicans. Fuck the left, court the Republicans because the Republicans will fall. After all, those Republicans are just primed to pick anybody but Donald Trump. So say it Liz Cheney, the woman who got 200 fucking votes in North Dakota. The only person to get like those low of votes and spend even $1 on fucking electoral power, because you can just pay people there like, hey, $10 vote for me. You got $100 in your pocket. You got 10 votes. She got 2. She got fucking 2. 1% of her primary. There's nobody in that state, and she managed to get
She
1% of their primary total.
she
Completely get
might
the shit
as
beat out of her.
well she might as well have stood outside like wherever the grocery store is and been like, "Hey, here's $1 you want to vote with." Like if she had people at the what, like 3 grocery stores that are probably in the fucking state, like she could have got it right there. And she didn't even. That's what
Yeah.
you're saying, right?
Yeah. You know,
Fucking
she went all over that shit. She went over that shit hard trying to court the Republican Party. Notably, too, do you remember when Tim Walz just magically disappeared from the public eye? Like, he was all over those rallies, but he was nowhere to be found in public. Even though if you looked at the 4 candidates, the people were literally in order. What the fuck is a JD Vance? God, I fucking hate Donald Trump. Oh Christ, I don't like Kamala Harris. Hey, this Tim guy's all right.
Pull that rug.
Get that motherfucker out of here. He's making you look bad. The guy who goes out and talks about how great you are is making you look bad. And she fucking listened. She listened to that advice. Because I can
Say it's
tell
an
you right now.
infiltration if they didn't like invite them in. It's like if the vampire is at the door and you're like, "Hey, come in, man." Yeah, you know.
Yeah. You know, you vamps is all right. I don't know why you guys get such a bum rep. Why do you want me to wash my neck again?
They're
Ah, that's
picking
funny.
the fucking guy instead of the bear.
Yeah. You know,
Fucking
because
vampires. Hey, we got
yeah.
Liz Cheney showed up at the door. She's gonna give us our endorsement.
Yeah, Liz Cheney's going to
But
endorse us,
doesn't
man.
it?
Her eyes are
If
Everybody.
glowing, and
you,
she's slightly floating with every step.
but if you work in that realm, like let's just call it politics, but you know what I'm talking about.
That circle of
It,
hell, yeah.
yeah, if you work in that realm, it would be super hard to resist the people who are like, we have done this before. Like if you're part of that machine and
Sure.
like, you know, the literal Wizard of Oz comes and it's not a guy behind a curtain, like it's, you know. But they're like, we own this shit. We're gonna come in here and tell you how to do it. And you know, all of that sweet, sweet donation money that you get is kind of predicated on being nice. On being nice.
I am not
That
disagreeing.
would be hard for a person to resist. I'm gonna say that.
I'm not saying that there weren't reasons she listened to it. But with the boots on the ground, because remember, she inherited Biden's campaigning staff. She listened to their choices about the consultants instead of bringing in her own people because it was easy. She didn't even bring in a mix of her own people and others. She didn't bring in a mix of people who who were tapped into the youth vote and knew what they wanted to hear so they could say it. And most importantly, when she was getting the biofeedback of just everybody seems to like Tim, because remember at first, Tim Walz was everywhere. He was fucking throwing hands with these motherfuckers, calling them weirdos and perverts, talking about JD Vance humping the couch, which was like means he was like really memed in. Remember that era? Yeah.
August.
Well, remember, Liz Cheney and Hillary Clinton show up and go, "You look ridiculous with that shit going on. How can you let them sit there and say that? God, that makes you look terrible." And what did Kamala hear? Oh, fuck, I look terrible. I can't look terrible. I'm Kamala fucking Harris. So what does she do? Well, then she turns to those goddamn vultures,
Harpies.
those harpies, the fucking actual demons from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and is like, well, what do I do? What do I do, gang? I can't lose this. I don't want to be the person who loses to. I don't
All
want to
right,
be the
I'm about to
person who.
go, guys. I'll catch you guys later.
You rolling? All right.
Yeah.
I don't
Peace
want to be
out.
the person who loses to Donald fucking
Glad to
Trump.
see you.
She's worried, rightly so. Who wants to be the person who's worried about losing to Donald Trump? Nobody. Nobody wants that fate. That sounds awful. That sounds like the worst thing in the fucking world, right? So there's no reason to not be scared of that fate. But they keep feeding her. Appease the Republicans, alienate the left, and don't worry about it. When, since she's an ideological sieve, right, she has no demonstrable leanings one way or the other. Deep down, she is just literally a stock Democrat in a suit. She didn't have to listen to those people. None of that was required. She didn't have to. She could have just went, well, what do the kids seem to like? Their parents seem to like it too. All I have to do is pay attention to my phone for 5 fucking seconds and I can figure out that if the kids like it and their parents like it, I may as well just do that. because then people seem to like me. The most obvious solution to the problem in the world. But of course, these goddamn old ghouls tell her to go. No, no, no. Tell the left to go fuck themselves. That's what the kids like. The kids really like it when you tell the left to go fuck themselves. They really like it. What the kids love is the Republican Party. What the children crave is the cold hand of the Republicans. And then, if I'm reading the room right, we come to the final days. We come to the end of the line. And what the hell happens there? We get polling back that says we might be fucked, fam, and we don't know what to do. Because if you paid close attention to it like I do, you would note that in the final days of the campaign, suddenly the Republicans are weird dipshits again, being bonkers and bizarro. Tim Walz is suddenly allowed to speak again. And we're memeing and we're gunning policy after policy. Some of them are to appease right wingers. I mean, it's not that she stopped being her. But what we're pumping out factory wise is now here's a list of policies when we said originally we don't need to run on policies. And we paid consultants to say she doesn't need to run on policies. Suddenly we have policies. We have so many policies. What the fuck are you talking about? Of course we have policies. Ha 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 ha. Please don't kill us. We're floundering for our lives. And when she made such an abrupt about face, that's when everybody should realize the fucking game was over. Because Trump's floor was higher than her goddamn ceiling at that point, and she knew it. That's why she panicked and reversed course on everything they were telling her. Finally fucking listened when they said, Liz might be bad for you.
But it's too late, baby, now it's too late.
Mm-hmm. Just like if you say the condom broke after you finished, it's far too late for that to be relevant. We got a different problem. So, when we're just looking at the steps by which she failed, we have a Democrat who had a bunch of free fucking goodwill handed to her, unearned, who originally used it to be a little bit vapid, but to portray in a year full of misery a bit of fun and sunshine. Something positive to the constant countercurrent of both the Biden administration's general bad news bears and the Trump administration's promise that I'm going to make everything more fucking expensive and miserable and worse all at once. And also, I'm just going to let the racism fly. In fact, if you think I can't top my racism, watch me tomorrow. She offered good vibes, a little vapidity, sure. At that stage, vapid, but purely good vibes, and a means by which to maybe dig yourselves out of the fucking day-to-day misery of this awful hellscape that we live in. But thank fuck we burned that bridge as fast as we could, because otherwise the Republicans might be butthurt about it, and we would never want to make Liz Cheney butthurt. Absolutely the last person we want to make feel bad for reasons that we can't quite explain, because she's Liz fucking Cheney. We wouldn't want to make Hillary Clinton feel bad that another woman might be able to beat Donald Trump. That would make her feel bad, which, good, frankly, good. She should feel bad. She failed. She failed miserably. No. No, what we got was bullshittery of the highest caliber. And in terms of mechanically running a campaign, we had one of the most haphazard, incoherent, and inept campaigns ever ran in American politics. And she paid the fucking price for it. And now, because she paid the price for it, we get to too. How wonderful that we all get to share in that misery.
And the fucked up thing is the campaign that she ran against was like basically straight out of like Hitler's playbook.
It was the
Like
dumb
it
version
wasn't.
of Adolf. Yes.
I
It really
think what's
was.
even more egregious is that uh you're like, "Ah, she paid the price." She didn't pay the price for this fucking campaign. Like that came out of people's pockets. And
Oh
sure, a
no no
lot of
no.
corporations were backing her.
Oh no
Sure,
no no
sure,
no.
sure.
All I
But
mean to say,
for
all I mean to say,
people,
let me
for
defend
people
myself
who got
first.
the, yeah,
Let me
I'm
defend myself. What I mean by paying the price is she now gets to go down as a bigger fucking loser than Hillary Clinton. Comically enough, because she listened to Hillary Clinton. She gets to go down and be
right.
remembered as a bigger fucking loser. That's what I mean by paying the price. She's going to pay for it. And on top of that, the addendum is because she has to pay that price now, so do the rest of us, because we're all strapped into the same shit show.
Okay. I should have just waited.
Yeah, and continue on, please. Don't. I don't want to stop your fire. I just want to make sure I'm clear in my point, because the point here is because she listened to those fucking goobery monster dumbasses. Now she looks like a dipshit to the highest caliber, and we're all fucked. We all get to eat shit through another crow or another fucking good old Trump administration, and we're gonna.
Yeah, I think she well in not realizing the misogyny and racism, they thought that they could get away with running a mediocre campaign at
Absolutely,
best.
absolutely, they did. You're absolutely correct. They thought they could run a mediocre campaign. They thought they could just fucking hang out and do nothing. They could run off of vibes. Wonderful, wonderful vibes. Who doesn't love a good vibe? Everybody loves a good vibe.
Yeah, well, we're gonna be having a whole lot of them the next 4 years. It's gonna be
Oh,
great.
gonna be some interesting fucking vibes in the world, let me tell you.
I mean,
God.
basically, what you're describing is like a, a repeat of the Hillary 2016 campaign where it was like, oh, well, I'm next. Like,
Mm-hmm.
of course, how dare you? And yeah, like they didn't learn from the first time that you can't pull that. What? Maybe they did learn and didn't give a fuck.
Oh no,
Um,
they didn't learn. Don't worry. Don't worry. If you're worried that they learned anything, these are the fucking stupidest people on the planet. They're dumber than the Trump people. They're
but
dumber than the
basically,
Trump people because they
they
don't understand how elections function. You have the
they
floor, but
they did the same shit again,
hmm
and now they're all fucking scratching their heads about like, well, why didn't it work this time?
yeah. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Competence? What's this word you're fucking saying? This sounds like some communist bullshit. Competent.
I did hear that they are very satisfied with their donation numbers, though.
Oh yes, yeah. That they're eternally pleased by. Those were wonderful.
Well, you got to make sure that like that number don't go down. Like the graph's got to go up. You
Graph
know,
does have to go up. Trump was a wonderful thing to run against as he was the first time round.
and yeah, and so it's you know their horse might not have come in the Kentucky Derby, but probably their bets got paid off, and I think that pretty much everyone involved in the actual election is probably feeling okay.
I'm sure they are. All those consultants are doing fine. Why would they care? Wasn't their election to lose.
Well, and so the best part of all of this is that, and I say that sarcastically clearly, is that
hmm
you know he got 2 million less votes than he did last time.
3.
And still, oh, was it 3? Forgive me.
3.
And he still fucking won the popular vote. Holy hell.
Well, we've been wondering for years, how influential is the left on an election? We just found out. We just found out what that looks like. Other people, other commentators are
In the
saying
negative.
we didn't find
We
out
found
shit.
out what negative space looks like.
Well, we also found out what the positive space looks like, because Mr. Dark
Like,
Brandon.
I wouldn't. It's not all leftists though, too. I mean, it's a combination of shit. There's a lot of people that were like, "Fuck it."
Possibly. I would argue that that's the space where leftists would exist. Because the leftists we normally are locked in. There's the people of us who perform how much better than they are than the rest of us because they won't vote for it. But most of us understand also that voting is, when it comes to picking between those two parties, if you're on the left, there are some minor perceptual differences that somebody like Sam Cedar will policy wonk his way through explaining to you why you're wrong to do anything different. But at the very end of the day, there's not much functionally different. You're voting for American imperialism. So what you tend to do is you tend to spite vote against the party you hate the most. And for leftists, we tend to still hate the Republicans the most. We came out of liberalism. All of us did, no matter how anybody wants to say that they were a fucking third world mouse at age 2. That's not true. You came out of liberalism. You had to be radicalized into left politics as compared to the norm of our society. We talk about radicalization as if it's brainwashing, but what it is we're rejecting the societal quo. The right is radicalized against the societal quo because they don't like what's going on either. They're quote unquote radicalized. Their radicalization is disgusting to me, but they're still the same. It's the same goddamn shit. Ain't no fucking different. The battle plan is still the same. You got to go ahead and hit the enemy right in the face because the enemy is general society. It sucks balls. It's fucking couches like JD Vance's. So you don't want to put up with that bullshit. It's lame. It sucks. So instead, you turn to a radical politics, something that is against the societal norm. That's all radicalism really is. It's nothing magical, you know. But
in Latin,
oh,
it's a root, right?
it might be. I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, I was pretending to be dumb, but the whole thing is like the root form of the word radical. Radix. It's like a root that is sending off other roots. It's spawning. It's forking.
Well,
It's
I just
driving
learned something.
off from the main thing.
Like splintering?
Splintering, but like think of it as a thing, not something that's already dead, but a thing that's growing. That's what I mean by forking off. Like think of a plant. Think of a plant, and it's got a root system, and
yep, totally.
And part of it starts shooting off. That's the radix. And so when you think of radicals, it's something that is like coming out at an angle from a thing, but like in the sense of a living thing. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, now I learned something. I did genuinely not know that. The more you know.
Do.
Yeah. No, that's not even like Dan, that's not Dan trolling, by the way. I just didn't know that shit. I don't know everything.
I kind of have a fetish for like word roots.
Fair enough.
It's a thing.
It's a perfectly fine thing. But yeah,
like when people talk about radicals, that it's why do we give that a negative connotation?
In our society, we do it. We do it because it disrupts the neoliberal order, and that is considered the highest affront you can have, is making the bourgeoisie uncomfortable. In in feudal society, the bourgeois was the radical, and the monarch was detestful of that because the monarch was now being disrupted in his day-to-day business. That is a repeat function of what things we've already seen and we're already aware of and already know, which is, that as it turns out, if you're the conservative hierarch, you know, you don't want to be disrupted in being that conservative power. And things that influence that conservative power negatively against your liking, you will be pissy at.
So how are the Republicans going to handle stuff like the Sov sits being for Trump or whatever?
The who?
Sovereign citizen type.
Oh, the sovereign citizens movement is entirely designed to be
Or
compatible with this politic.
but you're saying like it sounds like movements come out of not wanting more of the status quo. Is that accurate?
Yeah, keep in mind the sovereign citizens movement is to make more tyrants, more feudal style tyrants and warlords. The purpose of the
Oh, okay. So they wouldn't rage against the machine because the machine suits them.
yeah, the machine suits it. They are the machine now.
Okay.
The minute Trump
Okay.
gets into office, sovereign citizens are the fucking machine. So why would they rage against it? It would be, that would be an act of cutting off your hand to spite your face, or cutting off your nose to spite your face, or whatever that fucking expression is. I forget off the top of my head. But yeah, it would be a radical act that would be just ridiculous. Why would you ever reject Donnie Trunt? You're a Trunt guy. The sovereign citizens are for Donnie Trunts.
But I was thinking like because of course the those who are of the party frequently wave the free speech flag, yet they get a little timid about it when it's like the free speech of someone they don't like. And they also, for some reason, uh really dislike the whole process of, yeah, you're free to say whatever you're gonna say, but you might also have to bear the consequences. A lot of those guys don't like that. So it's weird that they're like supposedly constitution supporting as well as like not supporting.
Well, yeah, we can end on the sovereign citizens. So the conception, like we can do that because next week I want to get into like what kind of meaning this failure has. Because I went through the mechanical steps of failure, right, for tonight's narrative. I didn't even get into the implications of these failures. We didn't even talk about white women, right? We kept pretty tame, aren't we? Aren't we ever merciful? But when it comes to the sovereign citizens,
You are.
I know I am just a bastion of mercy. We've all seen it live. Um, when we look at the sovereign citizens movement, what they are a rejection of, how their politics are radical, right? They are not radically anti-capitalists. They are, in a traditional sense, they would be something like a yeoman farmer, a traditionalist, small version of capitalism. I believe that's the Jeffersonian model as opposed to the Hamiltonian model, which is large corporations and finance capital ruling the roost. The sovereign citizens movement is a traditionalist movement and is absolutely for the Constitution with an asterisk on that. That asterisk being what amendment do they stop at? Right? And the amendment they stop at is number 11 because those first 10 amendments and the original documents that back the Constitution are incredibly racist and incredibly focused on alienating non-whites and whites who are considered socially inferior, something that the liberals have picked up on, alienating inferior whites, poor whites. The Constitution originally defines humanity in relation to being white and having access to capital. That's what it defines as a human, a white male with access to capital. That's it. That's what a person really is in our society. And we have tried to tepidly modify the Constitution to be inclusive of people outside of that narrative, and we routinely and summarily fail every time. And the reason we fail in a meaningful sense is because the system, at its core, when we are rigid about that founding document, is not designed to handle that kind of outcome. It's not designed to handle a non-white being treated as an equal person. It's designed to alienate them. For fuck's sake, it's in one of the agreements. They're 3/5 of a person. We're supposed to be out and out proud of the fact that these people are not treated as human, right? The sovereign citizens love that part of the Constitution. They want to be a yeoman farmer tyrant. They don't want to be this hyper liberated equal citizen amongst peers. They don't view these people as peers. The liberals are increasingly adopting that kind of logic for their own.
God bless them.
God bless them indeed, everyone.
Well, no, and it's super interesting to think about because the town I grew up in
hmm
had a board of chosen freeholders.
Did they? That's nifty.
That was the election, but and I have never looked into the requirements for being a freeholder. But given the name,
I want to hold
uh,
some free.
I kind of think that might exclude a lot of people in modern life. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look it up.
I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong at all. I think you know exactly what that word free means in this situation. It has nothing to do with rights. It has nothing to do with being an American citizen, which wouldn't be stellar, but
Oh,
at least
and
it makes
but
sense.
also the holder. No,
A
like
holder of land.
the free. Yes,
Yeah,
a freeholder is somebody who
a
owns
landowner.
the exact.
Oh yeah, I know. That's why I said it that way. If you're curious
Yeah,
about it.
and yeah, and like in that particular area, that particular time when they figured that shit out, they might have had different ideas on who was actually allowed to buy property there.
I think they might have had a few different ideas. Just a sneaking suspicion.
Right. So, yeah, that that's one of those things that I spoke earlier of something that tickled me.
Sure.
When that shit gets rattling around in my head, it's like a reverse tickle, and I don't know of a better way to describe it, but it is an unpleasant sensation.
It's kind of awkward. A little bit. Yeah.
Well, everybody, on that note, have a good one.
Yeah, we're getting out of here because it's only getting weirder from here.
Oh,
Oh
I'm
my.
sorry. I didn't mean to bring the vibe down.
No, it's okay. We are, like I said, we're burning out steam. Next week, we're going to go into the implications of the campaign, what messages it conveyed, and what groups it hit on, and how that is destructive to, frankly, the liberal order.